Hi everyone, Carlthany Scheme Tano here, internet's busiest geometry nerd, and it's time for a review of this Neigefeu Extreme Demon, Accu. Highly regarded modern style creator Neigefeu came out with this fresh new soul Extreme Demon Accu in 2020, being their first rated Extreme Demon, which was followed by Rust a year later. Which was not only a major improvement stylistically for Neige as a creator, but also decoration-wise as well. Heavier and more effect-oriented styles in Rust created a distinct atmosphere that Accu never really capitalized on. That is, not to discount the path that Accu much paved for this level to follow it up. The undeniable influence of Accu further impacted Neige's creating style and other extreme demons to come, as modern extremes weren't really typically heard of at this point. Ambu, the normal rated level by Neige, is what seems a lot of the ideas in Accu's decorations stem from. However, I do think Neige strayed away a bit from the effects panned down in this level to a lot sleeker and cleaner designs in Accu, which I do believe was the right choice considering the major shift in focus towards gameplay in Extreme Demon. And even then, Accu does have a great amount of background and foreground effects scattered throughout that are similar to Ambu's, often with their comparatively wavy and pulse object-heavy layers, as well as flashy color schemes. There isn't a single mute color on this level. Everything is super highly saturated and contrasts super well against the often dark grays and blacks paired up with them. Super in-your-face modern level with Extreme Demon gameplay. While I do think there isn't too much development within Neige's creating style in this level, I do believe it nails the modern style and flashy look it was going for. Neige is nothing short of a fantastic creator, especially when it comes to separating themselves from other modern creators in this point in time. And even if they necessarily aren't reinventing the wheel on this level like their earlier creations, they do throw in some really cohesive and solid parts. With the 0 to 13% minicube part probably starting off with my favorite part of this whole level. Cuts and strips of complementary colors in the block designs and separate shades of colors to keep the designs less flat, as well as many components that are hard to notice but can be much appreciated once seen. The pulsing squares in the background that make a snake pattern, as well as the splotches of color that are thrown around the part that sync with the music. What this level does very well, actually, is sync the decorations to the song in many parts. There's so many subtle details here that make this part super special to me. It then smoothly transitions into a new part of the pre-drop, which is a lot brighter in color than the former. While a lot more simplistic in detail, the brighter nature of this new part from 13 to 27% makes sense, as the song gets more twinkly and powerful with its backing synths. Lots of glow stars in the forefront that signify this twinkliness in the song as well. The color gradients are actually very well done here, and they blend in well with the gray blocks. Love the use of the pulsing objects in this part as well to fill in the empty space. This part still feels full and alive, even despite less detail. This level isn't even very object heavy either. It's actually pretty low in objects. This part perfectly slows down the energy into the next part, which is the drop of the level. From 27 to 45%, there's a lot to unpack about this part of the drop. The sheer amount of overlays in this part with the pulsing squares and the lit up parts add a lot of depth to the part, which I think is necessary in order for the part not to look flat like a lot of modern levels typically do. Pulsing effect background that is found in a lot of the parts of the drop works well with the energy of the song. The connectors and very well done custom saw blade designs fill in lots of the empty space despite the part being so cluttered. I do think the arrows inside the blocks feel a bit redundant at times and could be done differently with how the black overlay blocks are filled in. Gameplay-wise, the switch of the modes match the energy perfectly and looks to be pretty fair for the most part. The movements are smooth and snappy when they need to be to sync with the song's energy, not necessarily making the level super unsight readable either. The use of gradients in the color blocks on a bigger scale aren't overwhelming either and look very clean. The next part from 45 to 63% feels like a bit of a callback to the first and second parts of the level in the pre-drop. The glow beams and glow circles shining throughout the part, as well as the very sleek strips and cuts of black in the mix with colored gradients. Glow heavy and pulse object overlays and similarities to the last part of the drop. However, I do think it does a bit better of a job with filling in the space with its pulsing objects and arrows. This part just makes you feel like you're moving fast and matches the energy of the level at this point in perfect form. A lot of these ideas carry on into the next part at 63 to 84%, taking a similar background from the first part of the level but upping the color variance a few notches. The bright blocks in the forefront bring a lot of more liveliness within this specific part, and I love how all the saw blades are varied. The horizontal glow beams that pulse with the song as well. I love this part for how bouncy it feels with its movements, despite lack of blending overlays in comparison to other parts. It still feels energetic. The next part, or the outro of the level, does not bring the absolute power of this level to a halt whatsoever, as you get pulsing glow beams and an overlay to the drums of the song that you almost feel deep down. Although the designs here are a lot more sleek and less advanced in terms of their formatting, the energy is absolutely broad nonetheless. The sparky circle overlay feels a little unnecessary post-transition into the part, and feels a bit too opaque and noticeable, especially for something that doesn't really sync up with the song too well. However, that might just be a pet peeve for me. Overall, this level ends off in an even bouncier way, yet doesn't really stick the landing with some of the design choices. No matter what, none of these parts actually look bad at all, and even despite the quite lacking variance between parts of the drop, I do think each block design, backgrounds, and poses are clean and do get increasingly more intense, which I love to see. And even despite its clear inspirations from its predecessors, Accio brings a great amount of new ideas to the table, not just for Neige, but for modern style levels in the future as well. All of it packed into one lively package that can be much well respected from a gameplay and design standpoint. I'm feeling a light to decent 8 on this thing. Transition, have you given this level of play? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? What should I review next? Hit the like if you like, please subscribe and please don't cry, hit the bell as well. As of right now, I don't have any other videos to check out, but make sure to subscribe to the channel for more. Channel Dash is fancy now. Neigefeu, forever.